could that be? Oh, crap!
Uncharted Drake's Fortune sits very close to the hearts of many fans of the franchise because it birthed a jaw-dropping series of games that has been repeatedly regarded as some of the best story-driven titles out there. It is a very light-hearted action-adventure cover shooter that kicked off a series that would rattle the medium of story-based games. And although it is riddled with gameplay mechanics and philosophies that are very much outdated, it still resonates with an element that is lacking in a lot of video games today, which is that it's just a ton of fun. Welcome to my quick review of how Uncharted Drake's Fortune holds up 17 years later. As I mentioned, the gameplay is stupidly outdated. Gunfights feel more arcadish than what we are used to with today's standards, and with the frequency you are put in combat scenarios, it can get really repetitive very quickly. And it happens within the first hour or 2 hours of gameplay, which is less than ideal. However, the game is only about 8 hours in length, so it doesn't remain a problem for very long. Graphics and gameplay are also relatively easy to get used to, and you will still have a lot of fun playing through the game in 2024, but expecting a masterful experience will lead you to some disappointment. The puzzles are lackluster compared to later Uncharted titles, consisting mainly of jumping around and trying to figure out the correct path forward. The massive set pieces that we are also accustomed to in this series were almost non-existent. The story is charming and somewhat humorous, but it was very clear that Naughty Dog was still finding their feet with this one. The story almost feels rushed, and I say this because a lot of major plot points seem to be rushed down. For example, when Nate and Elena finally find Sully again after thinking he was dead, and it almost seems as if Sully had turned his back on Nate, in like 2 minutes of conversation, all is understood, forgiven, and reconciled.
You gotta admit, Sully, this all looks a little shady.
Yeah.
I mean, you tipping those guys off?
And miraculously showing up alive?
Now wait a goddamn minute. Roman had a contract out on me. I needed to buy some time. All right, stupid mistake. I didn't realize they'd try and track us.
Sully, we would have been headed home with the treasure by now if you had just for once kept your mouth shut.
And you might have thought of checking for a pulse before running off and leaving me for dead. Look, none of that matters now.
All right, so how is it you're standing here breathing and all, huh?
Now keep in mind, in the time that this game released, there was no real reason to trust Sully, and the background context or groundwork laid out for us to know that Nate could trust Sully just wasn't there yet. In the game's defense though, I am looking back at it from 2024. In 2007, I could only imagine the praise and effect on players this game had, and the revolutionary change in cinematic games that would be inspired by Uncharted's first installment was massive. And in 2024, if by some miraculous bad luck you own a PlayStation and have not played Uncharted yet, this game is a must experience. Not to marvel in the masterpiece that was, because let's face it, it's not, but because you need to get to Uncharted 2 to really appreciate the jump that Naughty Dog made when they almost mastered this formula. But that game will be covered in the next video, so stay tuned. For now, if you haven't, I'd still recommend this game to you as an all-time classic and one that will propel you down one of the best gaming franchises out there, hands down. If you made it this far in the video, your attention span probably allowed you to finish school, so congratulations. So hit that like button and subscribe buttons if you haven't already, and I'll catch you with the next one. Stay safe, and may God bless you all.